Hello there, everyone. TheAndrata here, and welcome back to episode 121, I think it is, of our Enigmatica 6 Expert Let's Play series, where today, as you can see, we have our awesome Fortuneizer running. It's absolutely insane. We're getting HDPE pellets going with some mechanism, having lots of fun, so let's get started. Welcome back, my friends, to another wonderful episode here in the world of TheAndrata in Enigmatica 6 Expert, where today we have quite a few things to talk about. So last episode we had ended with ourselves setting up our scorching heat Fortuneizer for our ores, and we had set it up just basic, and I said I was going to finish the setup in between episodes, so we had it going, and voila, we have it going. Let's talk about what we got here. It is absolutely insane. This machine is ridiculous. It is going to be a absolute lag fest, but it's so great. It's worth it. I don't care. We just won't come over here anymore. But oh my God, it is absolutely hilarious. I love it. It's just fun. Okay, this whole thing is fun. Anyway, let's talk about what we got here. So we have a network receiver bound over home that has exporters, two advanced exporters set up on it, that is exporting all of our chunks and our various ores that don't chunkify into a netherite backpack, the same backpacks that we had downstairs in the factory previously with our stack upgrades. That is, everything's dumping into here. All of our ores that don't need converted chill out in here for now, and then our chunks get pulled out with our logistical transporters, and they pop out into these crafters here. I went with tier 2 crafters because we don't have the nitro crystals. These just took blazing, easy peasy to set up. I just have to have more of them. It's really not that big of a deal though. Each one of these is set up with their recipe to convert the chunk into the ore. And then we have our inventory here remembered, and all the extra slots outside of the ones that are relevant for our recipe are filled with, I believe this is gabbro cobblestone. Doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's something that never ends up in here. And what this does is it allows only these slots to be used. So the only thing that will end up in here is the chunks that are relevant. We're not going to have extra stuff sitting in here that's not going to get processed and then this get filled up. So the items get chunked, the chunks come in here, they get ore processed, and it's the same setup for all of these, and then they get pulled out, and then they get pushed into this backpack here, which again, just has stack upgrades, and this is where all of our relevant ores are just chilling out right now, because the system is currently turned off, because I wanted y'all to see how crazy this is. Above that, we have a modular router that is set with a polar, and a distributor. Stack and speed upgrades are going to be the standard for pretty much everything we have going on here. But this polar is set here with a whitelist of this item filter here. And what it does is it pulls these regular chunks, or these regular ores, these ones that don't need processed. It's going to pull them from this backpack because they need somewhere to go and they need to get processed and everything. And honestly, we want to prioritize these. I like to sort these by count. We want to prioritize these ores, mainly the Nebu really is the most important. Prioritize this so these get processed before all of this stuff gets processed, because this stuff not supery dupery important versus like Nebu ore right now. Anyway, so polar pulls there. This polar pulls from the backpack to the bottom, and then it distributes to all of these routers. The routers in the front here are set up with placer modules, stack and speed upgrades. Stack upgrades in this case are probably unnecessary, but I threw them in there. It can't place a stack of items down at a time, so it really doesn't matter. But the speed upgrades are important, so it can just place as fast as it absolutely can. 7 of those. And then this guy here is set up with a vacuum module with a 4-range upgrade augment, vacuuming in all directions, speed and stack upgrades, so it can pick everything up as fast as it can, and then it sends it straight into a stable wormhole. Or a field creator is set up. We have a 7-block gap here between it, and this works great. Netherite pickaxe with our super duper Fortuneizer pickaxe here is set up with the Fortune 16 and scorching heat and unbreaking and all that stuff. Redstone signal, obviously. This whole setup also generates experience. So we have 2 modular routers on each end because experience tends to go flying all over the place. So we have 2 modular routers with a vacuum module that is set to change them into bottles of enchanting with range up and an XP vacuum. And then those are bound with a Mark II sender to send the bottles of enchanting into our stable wormhole. And the exact same setup over here, bottles of enchanting. We're going to need bottles of enchanting later, so it doesn't hurt. And yeah, it basically experience flies everywhere. And then this is our standard origin setup with our swamp homie here with our, mossy cobblestone getting converted and it doing the thing. check our Nature's Aura episodes if you want to know how that works. It's fairly simplistic. And then obviously a floating solagnolia there so that I don't pick up all the ores because it gets absolutely insane. Would you like to see how insane this whole thing gets? Because I love it. It is, again, like I said, it's kind of sort of laggy because it's absolutely insane, but my goodness, is it great. Before I turn this on, I do want to point out that there is a thing called the Enigmatic Fortuneizer. This thing. This is created by the Enigmatic team because they understand that this process it's going to be done. Like scorching heat, all that stuff, it's going to happen. They made a machine that can do this whole thing for you, so you can put your chunks and or ores, so you wouldn't have to do the whole conversion thing, pump them into this machine, get your items out. I don't know if this takes power or anything like that. It's not really like terribly too expensive. I mean, you do need to have Enderium, so you do need to be like not mid-game, but fairly decently and towards early mid-game, late early game, whatever. Caveat with this is it uses the durability of your pickaxe. So it depends. If you're playing on a server, you probably need to do something like this. You could set up a process like we have with our witch and our dimensional mineshaft to pull the pickaxe out, repair it with life mending, push it back in, and that would work fine. If you're playing solo, though, something like this is doable. So let's go ahead and kick this on and watch this insaneness. Watch my Nebu. Look at my Nebu. We're getting hundreds of Nebu per process. Look at this ridiculousness. And it is so fast. Absolutely insanely quick. Look at our bottles of enchanting. We're getting tons. We're getting about 30 each iteration that this is doing right now. It's ridiculously quick. It is hilarious. It is very satisfying to listen to. When I set this up, I kind of just stood here and I'm like, yeah, this is great. I like this setup. And I just listened to it and, relax. It's an ASMR kind of thing, I guess you could say. So anyway, it's going to pull all of our Nebu ore. Look at how much it's already pulled. We had over 2,000 Nebu ore sitting here, and it's just going to keep pulling it and filling these guys up. And since we have speed upgrades and everything, it's going to go absolutely as fast as it can. So it's going to take no time at all to process all of this stuff, to be honest with you. Doing 7 basically every second, 3, 4. It's basically every half second that we're doing 7 here, really. It's concerning me that these aren't filling back up. You are always like. Yeah, that one has 64. These guys are emptying. I wonder what's going on. We're actually going to let this go and end. Oh, there it goes. Hey, I just put more in there. Okay. Oh, I didn't want to put them in until the inventories were empty. Whatever. It doesn't bother me. But yeah, look at that. It's absolutely ridiculous. 532. We just pulled 1,000, almost 2,000 Nebu ore processed within the last 2 minutes that we've been sitting here watching this setup, and we now have Nebu 24,000 Nebu ore just like that. Yeah, this is fantastic. We could like quadruple our whole Godforge setup here. We could beyond quadruple this. We could probably set up like 12 of these, 20 of these, and we would have more than enough Nebu for this whole process to go. This is our bottleneck. The Godforge. This breakdown is our bottleneck, really. But yeah, like we could even make this handle like 20 of these if we really wanted to. But we don't right now. Maybe later, but I don't right now. Anyway, so yeah, that's our processor. It is absolutely ridiculous. Problem with that is very quickly are we going to end up, because it's so fast, we're going to end up filling up our system here, our drawers and everything, and it's all going to be sitting in occultism. So I fixed it. Okay. I did a little thing. You can kind of sort of see from my hotbar what we've done. Let's pop into our storage here, and you're going to see a little bit of work. I've done, not really a little bit of work. I've done a lot of work in here. I probably spent a good hour and a half, 2 hours, just reconfiguring, resetting all this stuff up. I did not organize everything for the most part, but we did some work here. So anyway, we have our storage drawers that are the same, with our drawer controller and all that stuff. Left side here, we have all of our God shards and our ingots. I basically have all of these and set up with storage upgrade 4 and no void upgrades in all of these. So all of these ingots have storage upgrade 4, our diamond or gem air drawer, and then our god shards as well are the same thing. And then everything else here has max iron tier upgrades with void for anything extra. So this can hold 192 stacks, which is like 12,000 of each of these. I don't think we're going to need more than 12,000 corundum crystals or 12,000 wither roses or anything. If there's anything that you guys think that we might need more than 12,000 of, absolutely let me know so that I can move them over to a drawer over here. But these upgrades aren't the cheapest thing in the world. They require, blazing crystals. It's a whole process and everything. So I selectively chose these drawers so that way we didn't have to do it. And you're looking at this and you may be like, well, TheAndrata, where's the rest of your ingots, right? You don't have any other ingots set up in here. These look like all your, alloys, but where's the ingots? Over here. So if you've never seen my industrial foregoing mod spotlight, now would be a good time to go check it out. But industrial foregoing has what's called the black hole controller. Fantastic little machine that basically allows you to store black hole units inside of it, and it takes one block space up. You can hook up an external storage to it and access it through Refined, and you have access to all of these things inside of your Refined from one little block. It's fantastic. You can set up obviously multiple of these. We only have 2 slots left, but so what I did was made Supreme black hole units. They're actually not expensive. I thought that it was going to be a little bit more like pricey, but it's not. Ether gas is really the bottleneck, and then elite control circuits, but that was experience that we needed for these, which we have experience taken care of by the buttload really. And then we have ether gas, we have our wither milker set up, so these are not difficult to make at all. So what in the advantage with these is that they hold max int items, 2 billion of every item. You can't have more than that in Minecraft. You literally cannot hold more than that much gold in any one system or anything like that. Now, obviously, we could set up 2 of these, but do you think we're going to need more than 2 billion gold ingots? But anyway, so what we have is all of these set up here. Gold ingot, zinc, nebu, netherite, all these things set up inside of here with an external storage with a priority of 50. So this is going to be where anything goes first. And since it's basically infinite storage, we can look at it as infinite storage. We're never going to have to worry about ingots jamming up our system. Even though we've got so much nebu and everything like that, we're not going to have to worry about all of that going into there. So just our standard setup that we have here, I duplicated it, but basically an extraction module with a speed that pulls out any ingots, drops them off in our black hole controller. So like our nebu right now should be sitting at 30,000 plus ingots, and it's increasing because everything's flowing into here, and it's flowing into here because of the external storage. It doesn't have to go into occultism because it's never actually, it's technically really never ever hitting this because the external storage is automatically moving it. So yeah, that takes care of that. Over here, we have a netherite backpack that takes any nuggets that we end up getting in the system. I ended up having something like 11,000 iron nuggets, and for some reason, I don't know where all that came from, but I decided we're going to set up another netherite backpack with a stack upgrade and a compacting upgrade that just compacts the nuggets down. It's tagged with forged nuggets, same thing that we learned before. So it only processes nuggets, turns them into ingots, and then just exports everything back out to its appropriate place. So that way, any nuggets that we get, automatically come in here, because some things process nuggets. Now, if refined storage needs nuggets, if we need it for a recipe and you craft nuggets, refined storage holds on to those nuggets, so you don't have to worry about, I initiated a recipe that needed 300 nuggets. Now all the nuggets are going to come back in here and get processed. Refined storage will hold those in inventory. Refined storage is back end inventory, I guess you could say, in a buffer, so you don't have to worry about it. Over here is a crafter, just making netherite ingots. Any netherite scrap that we have come in here automatically gets dropped off and then makes netherite ingots. Netherite scrap isn't used really for anything else other than turning into netherite ingots or manulin, but we actually have manulin coming from cobalt. When we process cobalt from our cobalt bee, we actually get manulin ingots and nuggets, or nuggets that get turned into ingots. And then lastly, we have an item trash can setting up here just with an advanced exporter to export anything that we don't really need. I don't know why I removed that from there. We end up getting these rotten blister berries every once in a while. Same thing with probably like poisonous potatoes. Yeah. and we can export those and just get rid of them. We don't need them in our system. So anyway, that's everything that took place here. So storage is now good. I also went and refactored all of this storage and everything, cleaned everything up. So like I said, all of these have the same amount of upgrades with void on them and everything. It was not the most fun thing in the world. I went through refined. I think we have like almost 3 extra rows on here. I went through our system. Anything that had more than 1,000 in our stable wormhole, for the most part, ended up getting a drawer, especially if it was something that we are continuously producing. So all of the all of these stones and everything, we're constantly producing those, so they end up in a drawer, and then they'll fill up, and then they'll get voided out. The only thing that's weird that's in here is flux dust. We have 5,000 flux dust. My flux dust setup must have broke at some point, no idea when, and burned through basically all of our redstone. We don't have a ton of redstone. We're not going to find it in there. We have like 2,000 redstone, and yeah, something happened with flux dust, burnt through all of it. We also have bitumen, sulfur, and fluorite in here. Sulfur and fluorite I left in here because we're going to actually, those aren't really going to exist once we actually start setting up the nuclear reactor for mechanism. We're going to burn through all of that pretty quick. And bitumen acts as coal. I'm probably going to set a pyrolyzer up and just process this into tar and stuff automatically. So I didn't want to set it up in a drawer. But yeah, basically that's that. And that's pretty much all I did in between episodes. The whole Fortuneizer thing, as you can see, world is kind of laggy sometimes when we're moving around and stuff like that. But the whole Fortuneizer thing, it may be prudent for me to remove that from the factory, stick it in a compact machine, and then that way I don't have to worry about it and just have that Fortuneizer set up in its own compact machine. I'm pretty sure that's probably the cause of that lag spike when I just transferred worlds and everything, but it's okay. We'll figure it out as we go. Anyway, we're going to pop over to mechanism here because I want to go ahead and get ourselves set up with our HDPE sheets. It's been on our to-do list for a while. I want to clear this off. My to-do list is getting a little too long for my liking, so I want to go ahead and move it. Get this processed, and then that way we can start working on getting our essence processed, and getting our weak blood shards and all that stuff, because that's our next goal. So for HDPE sheets, right? HDPE sheets are required for a lot of things, a lot of mechanism, like mechanism's armor, all kinds of stuff. Specifically, right now, we're looking to use them for our tier installers so we can get our upgrades going on all of these mechanism machines that we have in here. And so in order to make these, we need to either enrich them, multi-servo press, or press. We'll figure that part out at the end. Process of making HDPE pellets is in a pressurized reaction chamber. You need liquid ethylene, you need oxygen, and substrate. Okay. Substrate is made from a pressurized reaction chamber of any kind of liquid, so water, hydrogen, some sort of biofuel. That'll get you substrate and ethylene. Perfect. We're getting ethylene out of that too. Liquid ethylene is made from converting ethylene over to liquid ethylene in a condensator, and then ethylene again is part of this whole process. So we're actually going to get a 2-for-1. We're going to make our substrate and we're going to make our ethylene in the same machine. Kind of convenient, right? And so what we need to do is get water and we need to get hydrogen. So how do we get both of those? Well, water and hydrogen are going to come from, water is going to come from water. Hydrogen is going to come from an electrolytic separator of water that is going to separate hydrogen and oxygen, H2O. So it's going to get 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen, H2O. It's going to separate those 2 out for us. And then we can, manipulate all that as we need to and push things where it all needs to go. The only other piece of the puzzle is to get biofuel, and biofuel is made by crushing some sort of bioorganic material. In our case, we're going to use melon slices and crush those into biofuel because I think that's going to be the something that we have the most of, would you say? Maybe apples? Like, we get 4 from 1 melon slice, though. That's actually, that's the reason most people tend to use melon slices, because you get 4 from them. However, in this case, we're not actually growing the melon slices automatically. We also have thousands of tulips. Maybe we could do tulips. That's red tulips. Maybe we can push tulips into the thing. We have kelp. There's a lot of things. We'll figure out exactly. There was the apples. I just saw apples. We have tons of cocoa beans. I'm going to assume apples are 5. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what we end up pushing in there. Because, I mean, we have a lot of apples. Melons, we don't. I mean, we have 6.3 thousand melon slices. We'll see where we end up with it and what we can automate. Eventually, we're going to we'd set up a botany pot that automatically generates whatever the item is. Anyway, yada, yada, yada. Let's get to work. Also, I want to point out, in preparation for our setup for our auto frit, I went into Atom to go find some camels. That way we can have a camel spawn egg. That way I can make camels. We have a whole process. It's probably next episode we'll talk about this, but I wanted to show you how much camel meat it took. I had to kill probably about 30 camels in order to get that spawn egg. So we have a ton, and we got a lucky rabbit's foot. Don't know what that's used for, but it's there. Anyway, so machines, everything we need. Let's get started. So the first thing in the chain that we're going to need is we need to get our water separated with our electrolytic separator, right? So we need to actually get water in here, and I didn't think about that. What is the cost at this point of a kitchen sink? Starlight Crafting, faucet, Everlasting Spring. We would need another MLG YOLO, a full Aura Trove. Theoretically, we could get a sink. Oh, you know what? We have refined access here. I have water access. Never mind. What am I thinking? I'm like, I need to figure out how to get water in here. I can't get an entangled block or anything like that. I have refined. I don't need entangled anything. Refined has access to all of our water. So we're going to kind of sort of set this up, this way, and we're going to have items flow, and we're going to do a thing. It's not going to be the most compact system in the world, mainly because I want to be able to lay this out so you guys can follow along. So machines are going to go here. Refined access is going to be here. So the first thing is the electrolytic separator, right? Electrolytic separator needs to come in. We're going to need to get power to all of these machines. So let's grab a, from power, I'm going to say we're going to grab a Neotic. This thing can be extremely, especially the electrolytic separator, can be extremely power hungry. So yeah, Neotic tier is perfectly fine for this setup. We're going to grab universal cables and lay them out like so. I don't know how many of these we're going to need. I'm just laying out a full row. That way, what we need, we have. And I'm going to move this cable over here. So then I can place this here. Bam. Okay. And we could use XNet for this and everything, but it may actually be prudent to use XNet. XNet can handle gas movement. We've just been using XNet for everything, which is great. XNet is fantastic. I wanted to use my Elite pressurized tubes, though. I haven't set those up for anything yet. Yeah, let me get XNet. Give me a second. I'm going to grab a controller and all that. Okay. All right. So let's get this set up. So XNet here, power, our little power antenna and everything. Everything's good to go. I went ahead and made a simple black hole tank as well, because everything's going to start with water. We're going to need water. So let's go ahead and get water exporting into this from refined storage. So let's grab water. We need, fluids and water. Get a stack and 3 speed upgrades. Fill this bad boy up with water. We're going to have a buffer of 1,000 buckets of water chilling out in here with us. That way, it's got plenty of water for whatever things we're going to need. We're then going to go ahead and get our electrolytic separator, get this bad boy set up right on top of this advanced connector, and then tell XNet, give it some power. Perfect. So the electrolytic separator needs water, right? And the water is going to come into the red slot here, and then it's going to separate into the two, oxygen and hydrogen. We're going to go ahead and turn everything off, and we're going to say from the bottom, you're going to input, and the left is going to be the dark blue, and the right is going to be the cyan. Dark blue, cyan. That's perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to have our black hole tank. We are going to extract liquid from here. Perfect. You are going to extract, and you can insert that straight into our electrolytic separator. And you can hear it already started running. It's doing its thing, moving water as fast as it can. We can even speed that up by changing it to a 200 or a 10 ticks per operation, so it pulls water even faster. And we're going to absolutely turn off the sound of all of these machines as we go. Electrolytic separator, because they're annoying. So there we go. We have hydrogen and we have oxygen being produced. What's going to happen here is our hydrogen and our oxygen are going to bottleneck our hydrogen because we're getting 2 hydrogen for every 1 oxygen. It's going to fill this up before this ends up getting there. So we're going to dump excess on this, right? We're going to let it stop when oxygen fills up, but we're going to dump the excess hydrogen out. That way this can continue going, and then the extra hydrogen is just going to go away. It's all going to get moved down the line, down the chain anyway, so that's okay. So that takes care of our water and our hydrogen, and we need to get our pressurized reaction chamber, right? Because our goal is to make ethylene. So we need to get water pushed into a PRC, but we also need to get the biofuel. So let's take care of our biofuel, and that's going to be our crusher setup. So we're going to grab our crusher. We're going to go ahead and place it down here, and it's going to sit here. And you know what? We can probably just get another exporter on this and export our item into this. Let's craft up another exporter, and then I guess we'll do melon slices for now. It's fine. We'll see where it ends up if we end up being able to maintain the number that we need. But melon slices are going to come in here. They're going to get crushed up. So we're going to say the back is going to be our input. Turn off all of our slots, and the bottom can be our output, right? So the bottom is going to be the output. The back is going to be the input. So we're going to have to spoof this. We're going to have our crusher. This is going to be an item channel, and it is going to be our crusher. And I said the bottom is the output, right? Yes. Which is where the thing is. So we actually don't even need to do anything. You are going to extract biofuel, and you're going to insert that elsewhere as soon as this exporter is done. And we'll probably get speed and all those upgrades on this too. I'll go ahead and kick them off. Stack upgrade. Speeds. Bam. Okay. And then you are going to export melons. So there we go. Melons are going to come into here. We need to also get power, I can see. Crusher, power. Perfect. Now you got power. And you're going to produce biofuel. So we're going to take this biofuel because we're going to use it as our filtering. And the biofuel is going to end up going into our pressurized reaction chamber, right? So PRC is going to come down because remember, ethylene is made inside of the PRC with water and hydrogen. Place this bad boy down. And we are going to say, hey, you're going to get power, first of all. Let's not forget that channel. And you're going to get biofuel. Biofuel is going to be set up to come in from the bottom input. And it's going to go to this slot. All the inputs are red, so I guess it doesn't really make too much of a difference. We can go to our gases and choose, where we want inputs to come in from there. But we'll figure that out when we get into XNet here. So we're going to extract from there, and we're going to insert biofuel. And that should be pushing biofuel into there. Perfect. We now need to get our oxygen or our hydrogen out of our electrolytic separator, right? It's hydrogen. So remember, hydrogen is on our left side. So we need to get the electrolytic separator. We are going to do a mechanism gas channel. And on the left side of our pressurized or our electrolytic separator, so we're going to do north. Yeah, electrolytic separator, you are going to extract from the north as fast as you can. And ideally, I would be able to filter this, but I don't think I'm going to be able to drag hydrogen into this. What I would have to do is get the dropper. Yeah, a gauge dropper. Pick up some of this. I didn't mean to get that much of it, but okay. And then go here and filter on hydrogen. I think that will work if we do a gauge dropper of hydrogen. Anyway, we're going to insert that into our PNC. So hydrogen should start coming into here as long as we have our gas config set up as the bottom. Oh, and since I pulled all of that hydrogen out of there, curious, what was I using oxygen for? Oxygen and ethylene makes the HDPE pellets in another PRC. I'm actually going to need another PRC. Okay, pressurized. Let me kick that craft off because it takes a little bit. Right now, I guess we'll dump excess oxygen because I need the hydrogen to start moving over to here. There we go. Hydrogen is coming into here. Perfect. We also need water to come into here. Since we have a water channel already, we can go ahead and say, hey, you're going to insert water into the PRC. Perfect. And then we should be getting water and hydrogen. Let's go ahead and mute some machines. Crusher, mute. Pressurized reaction chamber, mute. And I know we're our episode runtime is running a little long. We'll get there. We're almost done. So the PRC is going to actually be producing our substrate for us, right? That is our next step. Or no, yeah. Ethylene. You're going to be producing substrate and ethylene. We then need to turn the substrate and the ethylene into HDPE pellets. Let's clear some of this off. Okay, so we did melon slice, we did crusher, we have hydrogen produced, we have biofuel being produced, we did this, we have ethylene. We need to convert our ethylene over to liquid ethylene, so we can grab our rotary condensator, put that guy down. I would like to, if I can, no, go in there. No, that's not what I wanted, buddy. Can you do that and put it all in there? I think it may have, I'm not 100% sure. Well, it is what it is. Rotary condensator is going to get power, and we are going to extract the ethylene that is going to be produced here whenever this thing does its thing. But since I pulled that out, it's not going to be very fast. Do we have any mechanism upgrades? Just so I can get this guy going. I had 6 of each. I need more, but that's okay. I think, yeah, this is set to output gases. Theoretically, that's fine. I want XNet to handle everything, though. We could... yeah, you know what? That's fine. We're running out of channels in XNet, so we can set this to output. All ethylene will come in here. It's going to automatically convert to liquid ethylene. That's okay. So liquid ethylene is already being produced for us. We didn't have to do anything fancy. So liquid ethylene is coming in here. So now all we need is our pressurized reaction chamber, our second one. We're going to pop over here, lay this guy out, add power. And then our final extract. So we are going to extract liquid ethylene from this. We need to extract oxygen from this guy. And then we need to get our substrate that is coming from here all into this guy. Okay. So we need an items channel on our pressurized reaction chamber. Let's get the items taken care of first. For this pressurized reaction chamber, we are going to extract, and we are going to extract substrate. That is you, right? Yep. You are going to extract substrate, and you can do the whole stack if you can. From the bottom, that's fine. We can set the bottom of items to input output. And then you're going to insert those into the other PRC. And that should get things moving. Yep. Okay. Things are moving and grooving. We need our liquid ethylene to come out of here and move into the PRC. So liquid ethylene is going to come out of our rotary condensator. Do we have a fluid channel? Yeah, this is fluids. This is gases. We can kind of double up on channels here. Again, we're slowly running out, so just want to make sure that we're doing good. Okay, so this was our water inserting into our electrolytic separator. We also need to get our liquid ethylene and insert it into our PNC. I see what happened. Yes, and that's not what needs to happen. We needed to get an extract of this stuff. You're going to filter out liquid ethylene. Can I void this somehow? I need that water to come out. How can I get this water out of this machine, folks? Gauge dropper, you can go ahead and do that. Give me the water. Yeah. Oh, okay. It did it again. All right. You know what? We'll just create a new channel. Extract from the rotary condensator. This is going to be another fluid channel. We should be okay. You're going to extract. and then you are going to insert into the PRC. So now liquid ethylene will probably start showing up in there. Can I? Yep. There we go. There we go. Liquid ethylene. Perfect. I was trying to be compact with our channeling, but that's okay. It doesn't really make too much of a difference. And so then we need oxygen to come out of this guy. So let me just grab the oxygen from this. We're going to do our gases channel, and we're just going to set up another one because, as we just learned, sometimes it don't play nice. Electrolytic separator. You are going to extract oxygen, and you are going to insert it into our rotary concentrator. Or I'm sorry, our pressurized reaction chamber. And you were going to extract because oxygen is set up to only come out on the right. I need to do that on the south. Yeah. Perfect. Now you're doing oxygen. You're doing hydrogen on the north. You're doing oxygen on the south. You're going to insert from the down. Gases can input from the bottom. I'm sorry, sir, but you should be working. It's not flowing oxygen, is it? Is it liquid oxygen? Is there a such thing as it would say liquid oxygen, wouldn't it? Oxygen, yeah, liquid oxygen. This is gas oxygen and flowing or liquid ethylene plus substrate. Why no getting the oxygen then? That's a gas channel. You're extracting oxygen and you're going to insert. What if I just clear the filter? Okay, what if I set your inputs to, maybe because the fluids are coming in from the bottom, it won't take gases from the bottom as well. Let's set it, we'll change it to the back. How about that? Or just any other slot, really. Interesting. Why won't it come in? And why are we getting... Oh my goodness, that's why. You guys are probably yelling at me in the comments here. Oh my goodness. There. That's where it needs to go. Oh man. Now I flubbed this up. All kinds of just mistakes here today in the world of TheAndrata. Let's pull everything out. There we go. Ethylene. Perfect. Now we're getting liquid ethylene again. Oh, nope. There's a little bit of liquid oxygen. Liquid ethylene. Okay, perfect. All right. There we go. Finally, geez Louise, we're getting HDPE pellets. That's what I wanted. My goodness. It was much more complicated than I needed to make it out to me. 100% absolutely. Made more complicated by me. It's really not that hard of a process. I don't know why I struggled with that so much. But hey, there we go. We have HDPE pellets coming into the system. And now we just need to import this setup. We can set up an interface and import those into the system, or we could just directly convert them over to sheets. There are HDPE rods that are used every so once in a while, but it's just for the pigment mixer and plastic, which is used for our drill head. I don't think we're going to be using making a flux bore anytime soon. So we can just honestly automatically convert these over. And I know that we can do it for free with a press or something like that. I'm just going to use an enrichment chamber. We'll just enrich it up. Or is there something else even? Yeah, we'll just use an enrichment chamber. It doesn't matter. An enrichment chamber, and then we'll get an interface set up. Not a fluid interface, an interface. Or you know what? We don't even need an interface. We'll get an importer. And we'll just import HDPE sheets straight into the system, right? Right. But there we go. Pellets are being made. We have this whole process being taken care of. Biofuel is there. Our slowdown is our PRC. We're going to go ahead and kick off from mechanism some upgrades. So let's do upgrade. We want, speed upgrades. I can make a stack of those. Yeah. Missing frost steel and lithium dust. I have lithium dust. I've just never imported in the system. And I also have frost steel ore. I don't think I've been processing that at all. Yeah. So we'll get that going too. Or we have a Frosteel B that's making this stuff. But that's it for today's episode. A lot covered. We're way over on time, so we're going to wrap up pretty quick here. Any suggestions, questions, anything like that, feel free to leave it in the comments. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.